welcome to Epiphytic Cacti. I purchased quite a few plants from Kakteen-Haage. The box had gotten lost in the mail. It's interesting to see how they did after the fact. Knowing they had been in the box that long, and I think that for a lot of people, if it's the first time they've ever ordered or they're fairly new, a lot of times you're so used to getting perfect, pristine cuttings. If something is sat out, it gets a little bit dehydrated. It's interesting because you may not realize that there's not that much difference between the two. So I think that these guys have been potted up for a while now. I do not do anything fancy or magical or anything like that. These guys were put in these pots and they were set on a shelf. I did not water them. I did not do anything. I think when they were initially put in, I gave them a little bit of water, but they didn't have roots to take it anyway. I really only gave them water initially to try to get it to trigger something to indicate like, oh, I can root again, you know, it's safe now. Put them on that shelf, left them alone. They were in there for a few weeks like that before I was able to move them outside. Now, when I move them outside, you may think that like I'm going to take them and do all kinds of special precautions and everything to make sure that they don't get too wet or that like, you know, nothing crazy happens. And you would be wrong. I do not. I actually just take them. I just take them and I put them out here and I just let them be. You know, again, I think nature is a very magical thing, and I think that it will take its course. And I happen to live in a very interesting area where throughout the spring and summer and fall, it is very humid and very wet. So I don't really need to do anything. I think that, like, if in stark contrast, like maybe if I lived in California where it was a lot drier, I may need to give them some water or, you know, like spray them and stuff. So that growing climate might be a little bit different. But really and truly, I think for me, I live in a place where I can just basically be like, well, we're just going to stick you outside and call it a day. And that's exactly what I do. But I think that what you can see here is that these guys are no longer all wrinkly, which means that they have formed roots. They're getting plump. You know, they're nice and plump. They're nice and stiff. They look considerably better than when I pulled them out of the box. So this is just one box. There's some of these that have new little growths coming out. You know, like this has a new little growth coming out, and I think that this is Cody 1. Yeah, that's Cody 1. So Cody 1 has a new growth coming out. This guy looks just absolutely fantastic. It's all nice and full and plump. Very beautiful. Not sure what this is. Felcino Flare. Really gorgeous. You know, here's that kiwi. I ended up not cutting it. I ended up just sort of leaving it like that. Just see what happens to it. Here's some of these guys, which these guys didn't look bad right from the get-go, but, you know. Oh, actually. That's so funny. That is not what I thought it was. This is her. It's always her. She's always around like this. This is Camilla Berggreen. Really hope I'm saying that right, but yeah. So there she is. She's looking all nice and beautiful here. She definitely looks fritted, which is kind of surprising to me, just because, you know, she's very wet, but she's very stiff. She looks very healthy. That's really nice. This is probably her again. It is. Same thing. Stiff. Looks nice and stiff and nice and healthy. You know, all these guys, they look like they're doing absolutely fantastic. They look like they've all formed roots. They look happy. Yeah, that's really fantastic. Let me go grab another tray. There we go. I actually have 3 trays of these, so we still have one more to go. So here's some of these other guys. You can see some of them, like this guy. There's some new growth, new little growths coming out, new growth, new growth, new growth. This guy just looks fantastic. Ooh, I really like that. Oh, precious little diamond. Absolutely beautiful. That is so pretty. It reminds me so much of chameleon's branches. It's just so pretty. New growth, new growth. You know, they're all nice and plump, nice and plump, nice and stiff, nice and healthy. They're, you know, this guy's still a little bit wrinkly, but, you know, high hopes for that. This guy looks fantastic. Felcino Festival. Oh, how I love my Felcinos. Yeah, they just look absolutely gorgeous. So that's really fantastic. This is that new Peterson hybrid. or the one that was registered as Inca's Golden Dream. Looks absolutely fantastic. I have multiples of this plant for reasons that I am not sure why. Every once in a while I notice that where it's like really mysterious, where I'll keep buying the same plant and it doesn't matter how many I have of it, I just keep buying it. It's kind of comical sometimes, where it's like, why do I need this? I'm not really sure. I'll just keep buying it. I think that some plants I think I like so much that I feel like if I don't have just 5 of them, like if something happens, I just won't recover. I think that's kind of what that is. So let's look at the last tray. There we go. So here's our last tray. In our last tray, you know, we see a similar kind of thing. Everybody looks pretty happy. They look pretty healthy. They're all nice and plump. You can see there's not like kids aren't rotting at the bottom or anything. And you can see how wet they are. These guys are all wet because we just had another epic little rainstorm last night. This is probably also, you know, Cody went again. It just looks really, really nice. And the only thing that, turn this guy around. Here, you can see all of the little aerial roots that have formed at the top and everything, especially from being in the box, and like now they're forming more because they're rooting. This is the last Camilla Berggreen. Also, I mean, looks like she's doing really well. This guy, which is these are supposed to be the Disocactus eclamies. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I don't think that they're the, I think the thing is that there are different ones, and this is not really the one that I was after. I do know that, but we'll see, because I have absolutely no idea what this looks like now. So I guess we'll find out if it blooms. We've got this other Aporophyllum here, which I think this was the, the Alphonse. Not sure how to say that, but doing really well. So everybody here is doing really well, and the only things that I think didn't totally recover like 100% was actually these guys. And so you can see like some of these, even when I was unboxing it, they seem like they were a little far gone. But that's okay, because look at that. This guy, was good that there was 3 and not just 1, because this guy here is doing absolutely wonderful. And he's nice and rooted, he's nice and fat. I can see that it's got new growth coming, so couldn't really ask for much more on that. Same thing with this guy here, the same one. I can see that like this guy is probably not really gonna make it, but 2 of them did, so 2 of them are nice and fat and nice and plump. So just kind of wanted to show that because they do look really, really good. Anyone who may have only seen that video and felt a little bit concerned about trying to place an order, and, you know, being concerned about these guys like getting stuck in the mail for, you know, a month or whatever, and not being able to really get them back to a healthy growing state, I think that is somewhat of a disservice to really epiphytic cacti, because most of them, not all of them, I have a few nemesis, but most of them are considerably more resilient than one could ever possibly imagine. They like just have a way of bouncing back. Just nice to recap, just really see how well these guys are doing, and that there was nothing in that box that, you know, outside of maybe the fact that I'm going to lose some of these, but I had 6 of them, and I know how fast these things grow. These grow so fast. It's like a little weed. I hope if you had any kind of concerns with the ordering from Kakteen-Haage if you live in the United States, hopefully this is kind of put that to rest. I had posted another video that was by request. It was a subscriber request, which was like basically how to get an import permit. So there is a video that goes through that whole entire process. You can look for it on the channel. Thank you for watching, and happy cacti growing.